So today we're going to be talking about something a little bit different, but still on topic to our normal weekly Friday videos. And that is this little red book right here. It's called The Famous Little Red Book That Makes Dreams Come True, called It Works by R.H.J. Now, I found this book a couple years ago at a vintage bookstore up in Juneau, Alaska, and it was like, I think $1.99, and I was like, hell, I'll buy it. I'll see what it's about. Because if you know me, you know that I study mysticism, esoteric topics across the board, and I like testing the things that I read about and seeing if they're true. Because as 1 Thessalonians says, test all things and hold fast to what is true. I have been applying this now to my life for quite a while. This is my second journal. I do this every single morning, and I think about it, and I read it, 2 to 3 times a day, like my book says. And I am constantly writing down the things that I want in my life because it does, in fact, work. And I have noticed the more I write it down, the quicker it comes into fruition in my life. So as the book says, if you are earnest about changing your present condition, here is a concise, definite plan with rules, explanations, and suggestions. So this is the plan. Write down. You listening? This is important. Okay, guys, this is the plan. Write down on paper, in order of importance, the things and conditions you really want. Do not be afraid of wanting too much. Go the limit in writing down your wants. Change the list daily, adding to it or taking from it until you have it about right. Like I told you, every single day I'm writing the list. And sometimes it has the same 3 things at the top. Other times it slowly changes. And that's a good thing. That means it's starting to actually work, which I'll tell you shortly because even the book says that. Change the list daily, adding to it and taking from it until you have it about right. Do not be discouraged on the account of changes, as this is natural. There will always be changes and additions with accomplishments and increasing desires. Do not be afraid of wanting too much. I remember the first time I made a goal list, especially when I was coming out of my I hate my life, depressive state, what is the point of life kind of belief system many years ago when I was just very ungrateful and I was literally working 3 jobs and I hated everything. And when I started actually making a vision list again, to start dreaming, to start imagining, imagination is the seat of creation. It is the gift given to you by the divine to create your life that you want, Tomorrowland. It was really hard for me to make my list. I felt really stupid. I felt like it was childish. I felt like it was a waste of my time because I was making goals lists and vision lists long before I ever found this book. But once I found this book, I definitely started, critiquing it a little bit. And I did. I felt kind of stupid. I was like, oh, that's impossible, just making even this much money a month. Like how that just seems unrealistic. And it was very discouraging. I did not have a lot of faith in my dreams. I did not believe in myself, and therefore I did not believe in my dreams, and I didn't believe that the life that I want was worthy and that I was worthy of it. And maybe you're there, but just know that your dreams are in fact worthy and the things that you want are in fact valid, and you can in fact have the life that you want to live. I am living proof of that. So you can in fact create the life that you want. It might not happen overnight, but brick by brick, Rome is built. Okay? And brick by brick, you too can create your life. So step 1, this is the 3 positive rules of accomplishment to accomplish your plans. 1, read the list of what you want 3 times each day, morning, noon, and night. Okay, I carry this book on me. You can carry it in your notes app. I have a friend that literally they're super techie, so they keep everything on their just notes apps. I like paper because I actually like doodling and writing it out. So every person has their own method to making their list. Find the method that works for you. Maybe you have a whiteboard that you like doing it on. Maybe you want to write it in sand. I don't know, but you know. Okay, so step 1 is read the list of what you want 3 times each day, morning, noon, and night. Step 2, think about what you want as often as possible. The RAS system, train your brain to think about what you want, not what you don't want. Too many people have trained their brains to think about what they don't want. But wherever your attention goes, your energy flows. And when you train your RAS system to think about what you don't want, of like, oh, this annoys me, and oh, this is going wrong, you're just training it to find more things that annoy you and that go wrong. So you need to start training your brain on the reality of, oh my goodness, like this is amazing. Like I have this, like I am that person, like this is in my life. That's what I want. That's amazing. Okay, if you can think of worst case scenarios, you can think of best case scenarios. And your best case scenarios consist of the things that you want on your list. And then number 3, do not talk to anyone about your plan except to the great power within you. Okay, that's known as the divine. Some people call that God. Some people call that source. Some people call that the super conscious or the super mind. It's the gospel. The gospel, as Romans says, is a power. It's the good news inside of you that all authority has been given unto you from heaven and earth to create beauty as you see fit. Okay, so do not talk to anyone about your plan except to the great power within you, which will unfold to your objective mind the method of accomplishment. Okay, you have an objective, dualistic, intellectual mind. This one that creates and gives you ideas. When you tell it something of this, it'll give you a pro and a con. It'll tell you how to get it, so forth. And I'm going to go on to read what it says in this book. It is obvious that you cannot acquire faith at the start. Some of your desires, for all practical reasoning, may seem positively unattainable, but nevertheless, write them down on your list in their proper place of importance to you. There is no need to analyze how this power within you is going to accomplish your desires. Such a procedure is as unnecessary as trying to figure out why a grain of corn placed in fertile soil shoots up a green stalk, blossoms, and produces an ear of corn containing hundreds of grains, each capable of doing what that one grain did. If you will follow this definite plan and carry out the 3 simple rules, the method of accomplishment will unfold quite as mysteriously as the ear of corn appears on the stalk, and in most cases, much sooner than you expect. When new desires deserving position at the top of your list come to you, then you may rest assured that you are progressing correctly. Removing from your list items that at first you thought you wanted is also a sure indication of progress. It is natural to be skeptical and have doubts, distrust, and questioning. But when these thoughts arise, get out your list, read it over, or if you have it memorized, talk to your inner self about your desires until the doubts that interfere with your progress are gone. Remember, nothing can prevent you having that which you earnestly desire. Others have these things. Why not you? That's why Paul says, take every thought captive to Christ. When doubt arises, when the brain, this dualistic mind tries to say, oh, that's unrealistic. Who do you think you are? You really think you can get that? Oh, that seems too hard to me. It wants you to identify and accept that belief. But when you are conscious, when you practice meditation, become self-aware, when you practice mindfulness, you're like, no, that's not my thought. No, thank you. I'm not going to deal with that one. You can check this information because this is who we are now, okay? And you have to integrate what you want into your identity as somebody who already has that, creating that state of being. The omniscient power within you, okay, God, does not enter into any controversial argument. It is waiting and willing to serve you when you are ready. But your objective mind is so susceptible to suggestion that it is almost impossible to make any satisfactory progress when surrounded by skeptics. And that's also why you need to keep your dreams, that list, to yourself. I do not share this list with anybody. I don't even share it with my best friend, whom I talk to every single day. Just like they do not share their list with me. We only share what's on our list once it's accomplished. Because again, everything's energy, okay? And poverty is a disease of the mind. Doubt, a disease of the mind. Skepticism, a disease of the mind. If you have people who are just so negative and hating their lives and skeptical of everything, oh, that's not reality, oh, that won't work, it will wear on you. I speak from experience. I was surrounded by people who were the biggest complainers of oh, that's not reality. No, your mind's not that powerful. And I almost started believing that all the stuff that I was seeing actually work in my life wasn't working because I started listening to them. Because everything's energy. And so their energy is affecting you just as your energy affects them. And that's why you don't want people's limits interfering with your limitless greatness. So that's where you need to keep it private so they don't even put that thought out there on, oh, she really thinks she's going to achieve that within this short amount of time. You don't want that. You don't want their doubt interfering or trying to block you. You don't want to give your dream to Herod, who then kills the baby, okay? Let this dream flourish. Let it grow up and actually become an adult. And another thing that you need to realize is that your perception of God might be limiting you from the life that you want to have. Because God, omni, all, life, this thing that gives life and source to everything, that in it we live and move and have our being, that sits at the hearts of all man, that sustains all and nourishes all, depending on the tradition, and words are slightly different, it only loves you. It only wants the best for you. It is you. Okay? It wants to see you flourish. As the Kabbalah tradition teaches, it just wants to give. and it just gives and gives and gives, and it's just this beam of like light just coming down and constantly giving, and we want it to be like God, so then we gave back, and that's when our basin broke. So now that power hasn't changed. The omnious presence of life itself just wants to give you all these gifts. You have a giant pile. All of these dreams on your list, especially the ones that stay consistent, is because a future version of you in a certain reality, okay, on a certain timeline has it, and it's just waiting for you to align with that. So you want these gifts, this giant pile of gifts that are just sitting there wrapped. You're not doing anybody good saying, oh, I can't open that. Oh, it's selfish of me to want these things. Oh, that's unrealistic. Oh, I need to stay humble. You're not doing anybody a lick of good. You're actually doing the world a disservice by not becoming and receiving all the things that you can be. Because that source of life, God itself just wants to give and give and give to you. And it's you holding yourself back. You have limits and blocks somewhere, beliefs, saying, oh, I'm not worthy of that. Oh, that's unrealistic. Oh, that's undeserving. And when you say, oh, I am not worthy of that, then life says, so be it. But when you say, I am worthy of that, life also says, so be it. Okay, come on, I'll start refining you now, so that way you're a vessel worthy of holding this good gift. In the words of my mentor a long time ago, you don't set the goal of wanting $1 million because of the money. You set it to become the person worthy of holding the $1 million. Because once you get that money, you realize everything's kind of still meaningless, in the sense of you do with it what you want. And that was pretty easy, but I actually was satisfied with the progress. I was satisfied with the creation. I was satisfied with actually the building in reaching the goal, not actually reaching it. It's like when you run a marathon or you play a game, like, yeah, winning a championship's nice, but it was more satisfying being in the game. And that's where God's timing unfolds so beautifully, because when you actually have faith, Jesus said, have faith as small as a mustard seed. If you say to this mountain, move, throw yourself into the sea, it will. Jesus said, believe ye have received and ye shall receive. Jesus didn't say, hey, believe only to this money limit, only 1 to 3 times a month, because God's kind of limited on his gift giving to you, okay? He only has so much to go around. He didn't say, oh, you can believe, but don't ask for X, Y, Z. No, he said, believe ye have received and ye shall receive. So either Jesus is a liar, or those stories were telling you about the power within you, that your beliefs create your life. And if you believe that this list is possible, have faith as small as a mustard seed that this is achievable, and you just actually start to hope, you're going to see a momentum build. Okay, and again, I say this as somebody who was the biggest skeptic. I was like, all of this shit is bullshit. There's no fucking way. Until I actually started testing it, and I'm like, oh my God, it works. And then I would test it again, and I'm like, this works. And then I would start, trying to be like devil's advocate, being like, okay, I want to see how well this works. I'm going to start believing that I'm going to see a rose gold Porsche on this date. It's going to happen. And I would believe it. And I would envision it, and I would apply these tactics to my life. And then I kid you not, mind you, I'm also in the country at this point. So finding a Porsche in the countryside, in the middle of nowhere, very rare. Finding a rose gold one, even more rare. I was walking out of the coffee shop after working on my book one day, and I come out, and I kid you not, I see a rose gold Porsche. And I about dropped my coffee. I was like, what the hell? And that's when I realized your beliefs truly do start creating your life. And that's how powerful they are, that we live in a mental universe, and we are connected to the higher mind that sustains all things and gives all things. Okay? And as above, so below, as within, so without. As the higher mind creates, so do we. And when you get that state of being, now you're birthing that identity. And if that identity has those certain things, you receive those certain things. So do not doubt. Okay, and if you are feeling doubt, don't shame yourself for doubting. Just find one little percentage that you can hope for, so that way that snowball can slowly start forming. Because as you do, as you start to see that progression of like, oh, I reached this, I reached this, I reached this, it gets easier and easier, okay? It's like tying your shoes. The first time you do it, it's kind of hard, or the first time you ride a bike, it might feel uncomfortable, but then after you understand how to do it, everything starts working quicker and quicker and quicker, because you build momentum. And so now going on and reading this book, I want to continue it for you. Therefore, choose your friends carefully and associate with people who now have some of the things you really want. And associating could just be people that you look up to, even on social media. Study people who have what you want. Don't take advice from people who do not have what you don't want. Don't take advice from people who are not living a life that they love. But do not discuss your method of accomplishment with them. Put down on your list of wants such as material things, money, home, automobile, whatever it may be, but do not stop there. Be more definite in what kind of automobile. Decide what kind, style, price, color, and all the other details, including when you want it. If you want a home, plan the structure, the grounds, the furnishing. Decide on location and cost. If you want money, write down the amount. If you want to break a record in your business, put it down. It may be sales. If so, write out the total, the date required, then the number of items you must sell to make it. Also list your prospects and put after each name the sum expected. This may seem very foolish at first, but you can never realize your desires if you do not know positively and in detail what you want and when you want it. I also, on top of this, I orchestrate my entire life around the success that I want. Okay? Not only because I do have ADHD and I need to keep myself on track, or else the next thing you know, I'm like looking at memes for 3 hours and I'm like, oh yeah, I meant to text back this client. But second of all, I want to make sure that my life is created and structured for success and for what I want and for positivity. So not only do I have this list that I am making every day, I have a whiteboard with all of my things that I not only need to do, but I also have my goals written up there. So on certain days of the month, I put, this is how much money I've made. This is how many clients I have. I'm going to have this item in my wardrobe. I'm going to go here. And I am jotting it down as if it's already a deadline of a to-do list, because that's what a calendar is for me. So then when my brain sees that, it's like, oh, I need this by this day. Okay, cool. And now it's connecting to that higher mind of saying, how do I get this? I need to get this. She says that by the 6th of this date, I need to have XYZ. Okay. And the next thing you know, you're getting ideas. You're getting creation, especially when you sit with yourself and you get quiet for 5 to 10 minutes a day, 30 minutes a day. And you're like, what do I want? Who am I? What do I like? And when you get to know thyself, if you knew me, you know the Father, you know the objective mind, you know the higher mind, you know both, operating then in harmony to bring heaven down on earth. If you cannot decide what you positively and in detail what you want and when you want it, you are not earnest. You must be definite, and when you are, results will be surprising and almost unbelievable. A natural and ancient enemy will no doubt appear. Hasatan, anybody? Go check out that video. Okay. When you get your first taste of accomplishment. This enemy is discredit in the form of such thoughts as, it can't be possible. It just happened to be. What a remarkable coincidence. You will have this doubt kind of arise and be like, it's just coincidence. You just got lucky. Like this little success, this, taking off with your social media, that was just a one-time thing. Don't hope for it. And you have to say, no, this is my new reality. This amount of growth on the daily, this is my new normal. Go and clock it. And you have to tell your objective mind the truth. You have to tell Hasatan to go back to where he came from and be like, sorry, I know who I am and I know what I want for my life. When such thoughts occur, give thanks and assert credit to your omnipotent power for the accomplishment. As the Bible says, give thanks in all circumstances. This is the Lord's will for you. Religion loves to say, oh, you'll only get that if it's God's will. Well, God already told me it's will to give thanks, because gratitude says I already see what I have and I already see what I want to have as though I already have it. So by my faith, be it unto me, and I'm living in the identity of abundance that I have it. So thank you, God. Get away with your doubt, because they do. They mask their doubt as God's will. Because, only if it's God's will, because at some point in time, they got burned and they didn't get a prayer answered because they woke up and looked out their window and said, I knew it, when praying about their mountain to move in the backyard. When you give thanks, by doing this, you gain assurance and more accomplishment, and in time prove to yourself that there is a law which actually works at all times when you are in tune with it. There are natural laws of God. They are not the 10 commandments, which are the 10 words when you actually know the actual Hebrew, okay? Those are not the laws of God. Those are the laws of a covenant of a false deity who a tribe was in covenant with, okay? The laws of God are the laws of nature. You jump off a cliff, gravity's going to enact itself on you. Okay, so there is supernatural laws that can make these things happen. And it's not for you to figure out the how. Okay, it's not for you to figure out the how. It's just for you to figure out the end result and let the word, which is a light unto your path, guide you step by step into achieving your accomplishments of what you want. Sincere and earnest thanks cannot be given without gratitude, and it is impossible to be thankful and grateful without being happy. Therefore, when you are thanking your greatest and best friend, God is your best friend, for the gifts received, do so with all of your soul and let it be reflected in your face. The power in what it does is beyond understanding. Do not try to understand it, but accept the accomplishment with thankfulness, happiness, and strengthened faith. And that's another thing. Again, I told you I cultivate my entire day around success. I have morning rituals, I have afternoon rituals, and I have nighttime rituals that I am training my mind to think about things that are lovely, good, and pure and uplifting for the soul. Every single morning, I wake up and I'm like, how good can it get today? Thank you so much for letting me wake up. Let's see all the blessings that come into it. And then when I'm running or I'm walking, because some days I run, some days I walk in the mornings, it just depends. If I'm running, I'm listening to my affirmation music and my gratitude songs in my headphones, and that's what I'm listening to as my hype music as I run, because it just gets me in a good mood. And then you're also getting real dopamine, which is then spiking the gratitude, which is then spiking your state of being, which then also fuels and excels getting what you want, and so forth. But if I'm walking, usually if I know I'm going to walk on my way to my walking trail, I will play my playlist out loud in my car. Okay, so one of my favorite songs, I don't remember the artist, I'll just put his name right here. That is one of my favorite songs. I listen to that every single morning, and I listen to it every single night. Even also when I get like slightly frustrated, and I'm starting to like old habits of like, oh, this is stressing me out, I have deadlines, I'll pause. And I'll just turn on that music and I'll just sit there and I'll be like, I need to get back into the state of gratitude. And I'm training my mind and my body to be grateful. Gratitude will change your life. You need to cultivate your life for success, not for depression. And lastly, there is a caution that I want to read. It is possible to want and obtain that which will make you miserable, that which will wreck the happiness of others, that which will cause sickness and death, that which will rob you of eternal life. You can have what you want, but you must take all that goes with it. So, in planning your wants, plan that which you are sure will give you and your fellow man the greatest good here on earth, thus paving the way to the future hope beyond the pale of human understanding. This method of securing what you want applies to everything you are capable of desiring, and the scope being so great, it is suggested that your first list consist of only of those things of which you are quite familiar with, such as an amount of money or accomplishment or possession of material things. Such desires as these are much more easily and quickly attainable than the discontinuance of fixed habits, the welfare of others, and the healing of mentally or bodily ills. Accomplish the lesser things first, then take the next step, and when that is accomplished, you will seek the higher and really important objectives in life. But long before you reach this stage of your progress, many worthwhile desires will find their place on your list. One will be to help others as you have been helped. Great is the reward to those who help and give out thought of self, as it is impossible to be unselfish without gain. And that is why I also put the clause. Again, your words are powerful. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. Your words create your world. Okay, by your words you are blessed, and by your words you're condemned. Those that love their tongue eat of its fruit. I always put the clause of A, that these things come to me under grace in perfect ways, for the greater good of all, and the harm to none. Because I never, ever want to hurt anybody. And then the next thing I also say is I'll take this item, nothing less, but everything more. I am open to something better. Please reveal it to me in your timing, because you are very powerful. And if you say, for example, let's say you want a house, you just get fixated. I want this house, but somebody's living in it. Next thing you know, that person might die, so you very well get that house. But also there's cause and effect in this world. And so since that person died, next thing you know, somebody else in your life might die. But if you say, I want that house, I'll accept nothing less but anything more, that it comes to me under grace in perfect ways to the harm of none. Next thing you know, that person might just move out of their house, or the higher mind, God, will reveal to you the mysteries, the good gifts of, hey, look at this even better house. And you'll be like, wow, that one actually just fits my soul alignment so much better. So proceed at your own caution and realize the power of your mind. You are so powerful that if you believe you are powerless, so shall it be. So you can create a life that you love. You can have what you want. And the only thing stopping you is you.